here and go back to its 15-minute. I think it was a 15-minute. So like you can see the ladder happen. You can see the hold level gets hit, it pushes up. You can see that it comes like even back to here, in here, this hold level or whatever. But you have the hold level, gets hit, pushes up, right? You have the hold level, gets hit, pushes up. You have the hold level, it goes up, rejects this inverse level, right? Still being compressed by this. This wouldn't be fractally relevant, but this is also something else that's going on too, right? Like there's more than just hold and break levels. So there are other things that are going on here too, outside of just hold and breaks. It's not like hold and breaks is the last piece of the holy grail, right? There are still, if you were to break down all the workshops, or at the end of Q&A, which is next week, we have done 25% of what's going on. You see, so there are other things going on. So there will be some things that you just simply can't answer yet. But, regarding hold levels and break levels, what I would look at here is I would look at this being tested here. So we know, because you have to strip it back to the principle of this move. And this is, I think, another thing that's going to really help people right now is you have to strip it back to the idea that a break level is getting hit to break the move to move up. So if you know that this got hit, we can say, okay, we are actually moving up. Let's hold the highest hold level and this will continue our uptrend. So there's kind of that unwritten rule of we call them hold and break levels, but don't forget that a break level means it's breaking the level to move up. So if you are technically breaking the level and invalidating whatever fractal trend you have here or fractal event you have here, if you are creating this point of invalidation here, remember, this is break level, and I call it break for a reason, right? This is the only reason I call them break and hold levels. Just terms I make up in my head so that they can make sense to the world or to myself, or when I, say something out loud, I don't sound like a crazy person. This is breaking the move, therefore why it's a break level. So then if we're breaking the move, then technically we can hold the level that's going to hold the break of that move, which is going to move us up into the next ladder. So then technically we should hold this level in a technical sense, which is exactly what we do. Therefore giving us our next level that we need to get past. In this case, so we did break this level here. Let me delete these three. We did break this level here. In the next case, we are moving up. We actually need to break this level here. So, hold on a second. We actually hit the hold level. We're gonna hold and move down. Okay, so then if we buy this hold level here, we need to see if that can actually hold and move up, and we stop there again, and we are still attempting to go after this, because this is that kind of that moment of breakout. Like this is where if we can pass this, if we can surpass this whole level, we know that there's actually only, let me delete all of this for a second here. We actually know that if we attack this level in a very technical sense, we don't even have this level here. We actually just identify this level because we need to know where the hold is. And actually, if we are to go past this and break up, we're going to hit the break level of the move. So technically, we're actually breaking this to go up to the next level, which is up here, which is this hold level. So technically, this doesn't even exist. So actually, technically, this shouldn't even exist, because if we break past this hold level, we only have two options left, which is get rejected on the next larger part of the move up, or hit this level here. And in the case where we have hit this level here, we actually don't even need to know that level exists, because we're actually just pumping at that point. You see what I mean? So there's kind of don't forget about the what these levels mean. Like hold and break levels are if you're breaking something, you're breaking it to move up. If you're holding a move back, you are holding the move back to move down. So that would be a good way to kind of navigate through. Okay, how do you answer your question is going to be your own commitment of time to make sense of this, to make it look like super easy and we just hold this level and no problem, move up, feels good. And to get to that point, it's understanding the hold and break. There's a lot going on here. The hold and break will the name of them tell you that story, but there's a mastery again. It's a mastery of your own talents, right? So practice. It is not. You have to jump through timeframes to see what, there's a lot of stuff going on here that, I try to dictate, like we even step back to these 12-hour levels and taking a very simplistic look about, what do we can just identify as some of these hold levels, and then we broke down this little tiny zone right here, just one small little zone within what we looked at in the larger sense of, okay, why was this 12-hour hit and why is this 4-hour hit? So there is a breaking down of like this is a perfect example of a fractal breakdown, right? Like we kind of overkilled this, but to prove the point that this is how you have to kind of trade if you're expected to play against people who have millions and millions and millions of dollars just at their fingertip click of a mouse button, right? This right here is the level that you have to trade at, because you can, the time frame doesn't matter. We're on the 12 hours, so yeah, okay, we know our hold levels. That these could be 1 minute candles for all I care. It doesn't matter. It's all the same across all time frames. It's just how deep do you go down that rabbit hole? Like how far are you breaking these moves down, right? Like there's a certain point where you could even go, and we saw it. We went to the 5-minute charts on the top of a coin, and we saw the exact moment where it was going to fail, right? And it becomes obvious when you break it down, but it's like, okay, well, God, live at your computer much? Like, you know what I mean? It's you can get really crazy with this and break down every trend, and you can, and it will always prove you right. It will always show you the path, but pick one stock and trade that one stock. You know what I mean? Because I don't see how any human being could possibly do this across every single stock. But if on the trades you do take, then you can trade them to perfection and have like a 99% accuracy rating if you have the ability to look at these charts and understand all these levels. Like it's how I do it with Bitcoin, right? The accuracy is there because I'm breaking this Bitcoin down, to that extent where it's like, okay, I'm not missing a single step because everything can be explained. Literally everything on these charts can be explained. Yeah, it gets a little ridiculous when you can see everything and walk through moves like this. And you guys got to realize, like, I don't know what I'm doing with GBP. I don't trade GBP. I have no idea the history. All I know is what I'm drawing in the moment to break this thing down as we walk through it together. And it's like, okay, well, of course this looks like failure. It's laddering up. It's hitting an inverse level. So yeah, that's the exact thing. Okay, so if I'm looking at this right now, just blank eye, and I just come back here and I'm just looking at this and I'm saying, okay, the way these candles look, and I wouldn't recommend doing it like this. I want you guys to walk through your time frames and do it based on the time frame. I do it like this because I'm comfortable with this, and you guys can do it when you're comfortable with it. And I would condone not doing it now, but when you are comfortable, doing it like this. I look at this and I see this is probably a 1 hour downtrend right here, right? This is probably a 1 hour downtrend. Okay, this candle right here, the look of this candle right here, right? This guy right here, this, I guess you would call this a doji candle or spinning top or whatever they call it. I'm not sure. I think it's a doji candle. This doji candle here. I know inside of this candle here, there is going to be a lot of, and we're on the 15-minute time frame, there's going to be some kind of 3 to 5, looks like a 3-minute peak and valley inside of that candle there, right? Oops, I drew that wrong. There's going to be some kind of little peak to some kind of valley right here inside of this, which means that the fractal time frame on the 5-minute, this is going to be the downtrend candle, which means this is going to be the inverse level. To start the entirety of this whole entire piece here, I have to, at a first glance, gain the very immediate level. So before I can target this hourly up here, I have to gain the 15. Before I can target the 15, I have to target the 5. So I know that instead of marking the trend here or here, I have an inverse level here that's being created that must happen, which is the same thing as this candle here. That's how I got this fractal here. I know that there is a little tiny inverse peak and valley in this move here. But I know that just like if I zoom out and target these larger time frames, I know just like targeting this one here, this larger one, and whatever larger one is up here, I know I have to attack the small ones first, the small solid lines, these small break levels. You have to lead break levels into break levels into break levels into higher and higher and higher time frames. So even begin to attack an hourly level, I know there's going to be a 5-minute peak and valley in there that I cannot invalidate based on a 5-minute time frame, because a 5-minute time frame invalidates. Technically, a 15-minute cannot validate if a 5-minute is invalidating, right? So I can't actually go after the larger levels unless the smallest level breaks first. So I know in order to even worry about putting this inverse level here and targeting that there, there's no point, because if I can't break the level below it, I can't even. So I don't need 2 targets here. I simply don't need 2 targets here. What I need to know is what it's going to take to break the move. This 5-minute valley is going to invalidate this 15-minute inverse level here. This hold level is going to invalidate the second I touch that 5-minute valley. So whatever, let's step this back. Whatever 5-minute valley this is going to invalidate that 15-minute inverse level like this. This can't happen unless this happens. But when this breaks, it's going to target that 5-minute valley, which is going to invalidate that 15-minute, which is going to automatically be succession of the move right here. So this is kind of stepping through it in a very advanced format. This is kind of the end goal to get like this. And now going into the next question is how do you guys do it? Keep that piece in mind, because there is a way to see automatic succession and failure based on kind of what I just showed you. But what I just showed is like stepping forward, 5 workshops. It's extremely advanced. It's very tough to see. It's very hard to master, but you can kind of understand the breadcrumb trail as to why this inverse level is so critically important. Right? But this becomes doing it over a long period of time. So what I want you guys to mark, and maybe we'll go to a different time frame just to kind of get away from, or do you guys want me to stay on this time frame and do it? So there's kind of this way to slice through a lot of it to see automatic succession and failure. And in my back testing and all this other stuff that I do, you can see moments where you can actually see like, for example, you can actually see a pump that's about to go up here. You can actually see it happen down here. Not only that criteria, but that mixed with a couple other things, well, quite a few other things. But there is this way to see where like automatic succession can happen regardless. Like, go back to these kind of comments that I was making yesterday about, BCH, ABC, and when I was charting a little more often and doing this stuff more often, I said, hey, BCH ABC is going to pump. And, at a very surface level, yes, it breaks a valley. It does this, but there was a way to see other things prior to it doing that event to see like the big move as to where, down here when it looked like ABC was failing, in comes, 8,000 Bitcoin of volume in one fell swoop, because this down here was showing, the automatic succession of events up here, but not just based. There's quite a few things that are going on, but this is the future look as to what you guys have to start looking at for the fractals, or we'll call this one fractal levels, right? This is how you have to see it as you go on. But for now, what you do is you find your valleys, right? Let's just go to a spot here. You find your uptrends, right? So this is how you do it right now. This is the leg of the move. That's going to break the move right there, right? That means this is going to hold the move right here. So at a very simple way, you just mark the legs of the moves and the valley that brought it there. And then this becomes the testament of greed, right? Just like the same thing we looked at before. This is the 15-minute valley that brought it there, right? So you can see the 15-minute was actually back tested and touched here. There's also a 5-minute valley here. So you have to make that decision on your own, which level you are going to respect. Even like there was an hourly right here, right? So even before this 15-minute was touched, you come up, you back test it hourly, that holds. You back test this one here, that holds. You back test this one here, right? You have to make that decision based, and this is not always so simple as, this is what I don't want you guys to do, is say, oh, this touched once, that means it must touch this next. That's not true. Oh, this hasn't touched, that means it must touch this before it can touch this. That's also not true. This is just the way it looks like a lot of the times, and not a statistical advantage either, because if you miss the larger piece, you'll just buy into distribution. You can't buy first touch on every single hold level, because you could instantly target a 4-hour hold level if you fail a larger event that you didn't see, and you just tried to buy this, and all of a sudden price went way the hell down here to no man's land, and you're like, well, it didn't touch this. Like that's what will get you whipsawed. That's what will make you fail, by having these hard set static rules of, okay, we have to first touch in order to do this. There's a larger theory going on. There's much more you have to see. It's not a static rule that you can follow, right? You cannot follow these onset rules, because these events are every time a candle moves forward, and you guys can probably see it now. Every time we step forward in a move, another event gets created, which alters the chart completely. Just like when we step through this down and uptrend here, every time there's 1 or 2 candles, a new event is getting created. Either a trend is arraying out, which is interacting with another trend, or a hold level is being created that must hold the move. You can't, like every couple candles, the chart's there changing. It's like a chessboard with infinite space. Every time one person moves a piece, Every time one player takes a move, think of a chessboard that expands two blocks, one on each side out. Every time one person takes a move, 2 blocks are expanding on a chessboard. So how can you ever, if 2 blocks are expanding every time you make one move, you can never have a preset plan to say, okay, this is how I do checkmate. It doesn't work like that because it's every single candle is manipulating and massaging these charts a little to the left, a little to the right, a little here, a little there. And then you can see how delicate these break and hold levels are when you realize that this moment of delicacy when this is lost in a 3-minute candle, just like we looked at with Pat before, and he asked, okay, is there a way to see it a little better? And we looked at a 3-minute candle, and you saw the level. I think it was on Bitcoin, I'm not sure. You saw the level come up and do this, and then it did that, and then it did this, and then it soared, right? This is all happening in like one 15-minute candle. So if you're looking at a 15-minute candle, there's like a lot of little minute pieces that are happening even inside of that candle. So you can't have this checkmate scenario where you're saying, okay, we first touch this. Yes, I buy that, hold first touch. That's what I don't want people to do. What I want you guys to do is mark your legs of your moves to understand that it's breaking a move and understand why that move is being broken. Don't mark it as a break level and just say we're moving down. Understand why it's moving down. We call it break levels to just put it in our hands and hold it, right? We call them hold levels just to put it in our hands and hold this term to give it understanding in our head. Okay, this is holding. And that's the only reason they're called hold and break levels. I just made this stuff up. I didn't get it anywhere. I have a thing called origin levels. I have a thing called globals and locals. I have all these weird terms that if you said them in a room of traders, like professional traders, they'd look at you like you're some kind of moron. And like, I just make these terms up just so I can hold them in my hand and put some kind of connection vocally to the execution of the conceptual that's happening, right? So I want you guys to just, kind of a long-winded answer, what you mark. I want you to mark hold levels and break levels. Understand what they mean. Mark a hold and a break as your experience dictates. Because this is a very deep thing that you guys will not walk away from this workshop today and tie a nice little neat bow on it and have this perfect tool that, validates your existence every second of the way. This is a lot of hard work, right? So hold and break levels are extremely accurate to a science, as you can see, but it's not easy. Start by marking the legs of moves, right? You start by marking trends on both sides. That's how I'd answer it. Mark this trend and mark this trend, and then observe how it reacts. And when it goes through it, say, okay, what did I miss? What got held here? What didn't get held? You see, that's hopefully answers that in a good light.
Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.